What's up, everyone? So I just wanted to go through the assets that I've collected so far online and made a couple of my own and bought a couple. And, just to show you, just by going through online and kind of like checking Sketchfab or any other website, 3D website, and collecting all these in a single Blender folder saves you so much time, and let's just go by it and talk a bit about it. So, these tables, I got these on Sketchfab, and the cool thing about them, they're so, I can actually make use of them in any other room and then morph it into something else, and just by a couple of clicks and by some good extensive research, you can achieve something like this and find multiple different things for your scene, like objects, these military crates or this workbench. And, I made a couple of objects of or models as well, looking at these computers. A couple are online, a couple I made them using that quick shape from Jama. And then this closet here with a bunch of weapons and stuff, just to make sure that I have enough material for my scene. And I'm just every time I add something to my scene, I'm just thinking to myself, all right, what kind of story do I want to tell? Maybe they have maybe this group, they have these old kind of radios and computers where they're trying to find contact with the outer world or something like that, or then try to find a lead suspect or something. And maybe they have a workbench where they make their weapons and stuff. And it's all these small storytelling which adds to the overall realism of your image making. And as you can see, I also have the character here in my scene, which just to indicate how big the object's at, so that all I have to do is just, drag and drop them in my other scene, and that's it, and play around, see what works. And obviously, the second part is the furniture, and here I made use of the simple cloth that I was talking about in my earlier videos. And, just these small pans and stuff, and just to show there's a lot of small storytelling here, just to make it more realistic, this generator, just so that, because I had this computer and stuff, I'm all right, but what would be the logic to where they got the electricity from? And maybe they have this generator which works on gasoline, and maybe they have these, if you can see, they have these gasoline tanks and stuff and bottles in which they can fuel up their generator. And then, you have the, because in my composition, as you can remember, you kind of slightly see the kitchen area. So I also found these two models online and just retextured them and make them my own. And, these carpet as well, just as you can see, I can come up with so many different ideas just because of that, and I found these rocks here because I'm going to use them as the make use of the particle system just to add some pebbles and rocks on the floor, so that it's not too clean. And so it's just all these small nuances. And every time I'm doing all these, I'm just thinking in my head, all right, how would this be lit in the scene? How can I get some good graphical designs and, all these boxes and stuff. So, just to give you hats up, because this chapter was mainly to show you guys how you can approach it, but it's all about your own intuitive and your own, the way you put your ideas on paper and see how you learn from the past videos, as in reference research, because this also is reference research, right? We connect this with the reference research we had, most of these, half of these ideas, I didn't even know until I look at my reference images, this one here, these weapon stacks here, these gun stacks here, I see these kind of plates here a lot on these makeshift houses and walls. And I was all right, let's kind of make that, make use of that and see how I can apply that to my own image, and just adding these fabrics here just to add some more life into it instead of just flat, plain couches or whatnot, So yeah, this is what I'm going to work with. And then the next chapter where you're going to see how how the scene is going to look like. And then we're going to take it from there. Awesome. I also wanted to talk a bit about the way you should arrange your assets. Here is an example I made to show you how we can tell a story by rearranging the assets you have found or made. As you can see, the left side is a bit too organized, so what this means for me is that it doesn't look like there is a rebellious person or a militia that has lived here. It's too clean and doesn't translate the small storytelling details we want. Unless your lead character has OCD, but of course for this scene that's not the essence of the story. Considering this, if we look at the right side, you can see and feel that it tells our story in a more lively manner. Of course this may seem like a small detail, but it's the small details that add to the overall image. Back when I was working on The Last of Us Part 2, I got a lot of feedback saying it looked too clean or it should be a bit more messy. This was because in a mode of survival nobody will ask for a Swiffer. Position yourself in this story. Allow it to show our imperfections as human because that's a big part of what makes us human. We want to see that back in our images. Just by tilting the boxes and the ammunition, it tells us that they were used not too long ago. So keep this in mind when you organize your assets in your scene.